December 7th, 2025 Daily Bread Passage. Acts chapter 27, verse 13 to verse 26. Key verse 24. Title: Paul shepherds his captors. When a gentle south wind began to blow, they saw their opportunity. So they weighed anchor and sailed along the shore of Crete. Before very long, a wind of hurricane force, called the northeaster, swept down from the island. The ship was caught by the storm and could not head into the wind, so we gave way to it and were driven along. As we passed to the lee of a small island called Cauda, we were hardly able to make the lifeboat secure. So the men hoisted it aboard. Then they passed ropes under the ship itself to hold it together, because they were afraid they would run aground on the sandbars of Syrtis. They lowered the sea anchor and let the ship be driven along. We took such a violent battering from the storm that the next day they began to throw the cargo overboard. On the third day, they threw the ship's tackle overboard with their own hands. When neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and the storm continued raging, we finally gave up all hope of being saved. After they had gone a long time without food, Paul stood up before them and said, "Men, you should have taken my advice not to sail from Crete. Then you would have spared yourselves this damage and loss. But now I urge you to keep up your courage, because not one of you will be lost, only the ship will be destroyed. Last night an angel of the God to whom I belong and whom I serve stood beside me and said, 'Do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand trial before Caesar, and God has graciously given you the lives of all who sail with you. So keep up your courage, men, for I have faith in God that it will happen just as he told me.' Nevertheless, we must run aground on some island." Daily Bread Message. The sailors didn't like the idea of spending the winter at Fair Havens, and wanted to go to Crete instead. Perhaps the nightlife was better. When they saw their opportunity, they set out, but they were set upon by hurricane winds. The ship was battered and blown, and the storm endured so many days. All aboard began to give up hope. At the time, Paul stood up to address them with a mild rebuke, followed by a strong encouragement not to give up. How could he be so calm? An angel of the Lord appeared to him to remind him of the purpose of his journey, to stand trial before Caesar. Paul was just a prisoner, but in God's eyes he was the key person on this ship, and all the others were his sheep, whom God would graciously protect and spare. Paul received comfort from God in his troubles. He understood one reason for this was so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Prayer. Father, thank you for comforting me in my dire moments, often through the love of others. Please help me to comfort others in their dire moments as a shepherd like Paul and like Jesus. One word: do not be afraid. God is with us.